Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. Man, what a week it's been so far.
So much.
Right? I mean, we'll get to Championship Sunday a little bit later, but there's a lot going on. But let's start this with saying, how are you guys doing?
Not bad, man. I'm starting to get the after football blues already, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we got one big game because we all, I think we can all agree that the Pro Bowl was fucking meaningless.
Yeah.
So we have that one big game left, and then off season, man. Then you gotta wait. Then you're counting down the days until it starts again.
I'll be watching the Super Bowl on a flight to Hawaii, actually.
Wow.
So just throwing that out there.
Wealth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it like a personal flight, like your own plane?
Yeah, we're getting now. I'm gonna
jet?
go to Hawaii for my anniversary, 7 days.
Oh, wow.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
gonna see the Super Bowl in a few airports.
Gonna ride the rides.
Maybe pop up. Yeah.
That's
Rock
nice.
and roller coaster ride.
Rock and roller coaster. It's been down. It's been down lately. But I don't have the blues yet. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm enjoying these games.
when I get to the end of the season, I'm kind of like,
I just know it's coming. That's all it is.
I mean, you were
It's like inevitable.
it takes like a month or two before I start Jones, and you're a psychopath. So I understand that for you, that it's a big deal.
I am.
I need like some separation from the season before I start feeling like I need the football back.
Yeah, well, I guess as a Giants fan, you need time to like think about what happened, and
I guess that makes sense. I can't really argue with that. But I watch other sports too, so
I do too.
I don't know. Do you know? But
yeah,
really?
dude, I love baseball. I can't. I hope they hash out this lockout deal.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know, man. It's like I know it's coming, so I do that whole like snuffleupagus, like
Snuffle
bird. Nice to see a bird. Like I'm down in the dumps.
Sounds
man,
like a drug.
I know it's coming.
Snuffleupagus what?
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
You some bitches never watched
I don't think
Sesame
you're
Street.
saying it right.
Snuffleupagus.
I don't think was it a P?
Snuffleupagus.
Sniff a lot of what?
You know who I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about. I just don't think you're saying it right. But
He got the big eyelashes. He looks like an elephant.
Him.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like Eeyore, but great value Eeyore.
Yeah, it's
was it great value, Eeyore?
Or is Eeyore great value Snuffleupagus?
I think.
Yeah, see, I think
don't
you're
know.
saying it right.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, Luffa. He's saying Luppa.
No, son of a bitch. I
You
said
said-
Luffagus like
No,
10
you
times.
didn't. You said, "Oh, I can't wait to listen to this back."
Well, then
You said it with a P like 3 times.
well, I said it afterwards because you had me all
no,
verklempt about
you
it.
fixed it after I said it.
Snuffleupagus.
The first 3 times you said it,
Snuffleupagus.
you said Snuffaluppa.
We probably made no money off the F-bombs from last week, and we're starting off strong with these B words.
You guys are really
Yeah.
cursing up a storm.
Yeah.
Oh, are we not allowed to curse?
No, you're allowed to curse, but
YouTube
we
is
can't
funny.
monetize.
Yeah.
Why, dude? All those other
I don't know.
people
Why don't you write him a
monetize.
letter? Okay, please.
I
Jesus.
We should have a censor, but have it say, like, instead of a beep, it's like Rocky saying a word. You know what I'm talking about? Like a...
Yeah, like a stupid word that he says. That'd be good.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
So many to choose from.
All right, so let's talk about what's going on, right? There's a lot. I mean, Tom Brady retired. We're not going to talk about that. I mean, whatever. I think what we want to talk about is the fact that his statement on Instagram about his retirement, he did not mention the New England Patriots.
Did he even play for New England?
Wait, pause. I'm so sorry. Are we dropping pressing issues this week?
Oh, well, that's the board guy. I mean, I guess not. Wait, let's drop it. Let's drop it so Rocky doesn't lose his mind. Go for it. He doesn't even know where it is. Let's play roulette.
Pressing issues. What's the issue?
We need the elder back.
If there's issues, we gonna press them.
Are you gonna press?
Wait,
the
you're not
button?
gonna
I
press
don't
it?
know which one it is.
Oh, so that was you
I gotta
singing.
read. This is me singing. Hold on, wait. It's on 4.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
I gotta get to 4. I gotta go.
I had a few people that were like, where's the jingle? I'm like, I know.
Nope, gotta go back.
Oh my god.
How do you get to 4?
I
again?
showed you already.
I forget.
Okay, so we're not doing the drop this week because
Damn.
this is taking way too long. That perfect.
There it is.
All right.
That was not planned. Damn.
So Brady had about a 6 Instagram page
Yeah.
message on, and he did not he mentioned everybody,
Yeah.
but the New England Patriots,
his trainer's trainer, his grandma, his sons,
the guy that punched him in the face in Tampa,
everybody.
I mean he definitely left him out on purpose, and you said that maybe he sent something out later. You think? I'm not
sure. I saw
sure.
some stuff around the internet that he might have like said something about the Patriots. I definitely know the Patriots said something about Tom Brady retiring, but if it was something that he said, it's an afterthought.
It wasn't part of that statement.
Not at all.
Even if it was personal, like against the brass of the Patriots, I mean, that's an entire fan base that idolized this guy for almost 2 decades.
But honestly,
and he's just like,
do you think that they
screw him?
It's kind of like the Sean Payton thing from last week. Like Saints fans are like, yeah, you did a lot for us. Like it's okay, you're leaving. But do you think that Patriots fans are like still going to be sucking off Tom?
Well, the ones I hear from, they still love him. I mean,
yeah.
How can you not love a guy that won you 6 Super Bowls?
Yeah,
seriously.
That made the Patriots the Patriots.
Although I do know some, I do personally know some Patriots fans that once he left, they're like, well, fuck him. He's dead to me. And it's like, dude, I mean, he did bring you
those guys have something. I mean,
championship.
And those are the guys that have the split Tom Brady jerseys.
We're talking about some uneven.
I think they were Philly transplants, maybe.
Uneven human beings.
From batteries at Santa and shit like that, you know.
Some CTE going on.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just because that's the mentality that I grew up with. It was like when it's hot, it's hot. When it's cold, it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like no like remembering.
Listen, I respect
the heat.
I respect the pettiness. Okay, I mean,
it's what makes sport though, right?
It's great. I love that he knew what the hell he was doing.
Do you mention your what is the thing that you say during your wedding? Your
vows?
Your vows.
Yeah.
Do you mention an ex-wife and your vows to your current wife? No.
No, but I don't know if I would equate vows with a retirement statement.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I guess you are retiring from something.
But now taking a step further,
what I mean.
If your championship rings are your children, you're gonna leave out your 6 children to mention your 1 child with your new wife.
That's a good analogy.
True. That was a good analogy. Look at you being good at something.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, but those children are grown, right? Do they still need like father's love?
Well,
if it's Tom Brady,
one of them is only like 4.
If it's Tom Brady's father's love, it's like a wet kiss on the mouth too. So maybe they're missing it. Maybe they don't want it anymore.
No, they want it. I guarantee they're pissed off that he didn't mention them today. I mean, they gotta be pissed off.
Yeah, but 100%.
Do you think that this was a quick? And I'm gonna answer my own question and say no. But do you think it was a quick like little Instagram post because of how he was thinking about retiring? Schefter dropped the bomb too early. He had
Hell
to
no.
No, there's no way that you win 6 championships.
I'm just
you
trying
read
to,
it. Yeah.
Well, I answered my own question already. I'm just saying, like, maybe for someone thinking about it, maybe watching or.
No, that thing was planned out. He
went to 9 Super Bowls with New England, for crying out loud, and won 6 of them.
Yeah.
If that's not on his forebrain when he retires, then maybe he's a lot dumber than I thought.
You didn't read it, so it wasn't just like he just posted. It was
well thought out, right?
He would have got a 97 on that. If he turned that in as a paper, as an essay. So it was well thought out. And, we'll flip to the other side of it. People that he did mention, the Bucks. And, I know you had the question before in our group chat, but I think it's pretty simple. I think the Bucks are back to being the Bucks.
Yeah.
The Bucks suck. I mean, that's what they've always, even with that roster, they just kind of sucked. I mean,
even they have Kyle Trask that they Kyle Trask that they
tomato
to sit behind him. I don't know if you watched Trask's friggin' pro day.
It's trash, right? With an H.
Yeah,
trash.
It's TRASHK. Kyle
okay,
Trask.
So K silent.
What? There's an H in there actually.
There is now.
Well, yeah.
Hashtag that shit.
Yeah.
Silent K.
Go change your name.
Silent K like knife.
Like knife, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pull. That's nice. His pro day was garbage. He had Pitts and Tony both to throw to, and he was religiously over and underthrowing both of these dudes. It was awful. It was so bad.
Can't help himself.
Tony sucks anyway.
Good thing he didn't have Rager out there. Rager would have been covered in the pro day.
I hope the cameras caught I was looking at each other. You smiled, and I couldn't hold it in.
That was funny. And I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. It was obviously
we were flirting with each other.
So the 49ers are looking actively at trade packages for good old Jimmy Garoppolo. Does he go to Tom Brady's old stomping grounds and pick up the torch for?
I don't think that'd be a bad pickup for them. Honestly,
that wouldn't, because he's a good game manager. And let's face it, Tom Brady was although I will say, Brady had like 2 passes in that last game that I was like, holy shit, this old dude can still throw. And
they threw for 5,000 yards.
Well, I mean, right. But yeah, I mean, you can attribute that to Yak. You can attribute that to a lot of things.
Yeah, but not everybody threw for 5,000 yards.
Dude, he threw an out to like Tyler fucking Johnson, like nobody, right? And out, dude.
I will not tolerate Tyler Johnson slander on this program.
Yeah, the Giants would love to have Tyler Johnson.
I would love. So would the Eagles. Okay?
He beat the corner who was pressing on the ball and like beat him handsomely for an out. And I was like, holy shit, he can really still throw the rock.
How do you define handsomely?
Well, I mean, it's Tom Brady.
Here we go again.
Everything he does is handsome.
I'm just asking. I don't know if you're referring to him or.
We cannot get handsome quarterbacks off the mind these last 2 episodes.
Okay, man. We're I think we all need to visit the park.
It's kind of
central casting, man.
Again, 7D mine train.
It's what.
Look at you. You're all flustered.
I'm like, oh, Tom Brady. Oh my gosh.
I mentioned 7D mine train and
yeah.
Chugga choo choo.
It's just kind of surreal that Tom Brady will be playing football next year. No? Am I the only one thinking that?
No, it makes sense.
It's going to be weird.
And, you know, all these guys, like, end of an era with Tom Brady, he played longer than all of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, him, Drew Brees last year, Rivers, Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Tom Brady stealing Roethlisberger's thunder.
The
Mannings. And we did we leave somebody out?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. What a dick, man. He can't even let one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history.
You're just saying this because you look like Ben Roethlisberger.
Mr. Ben Roethlisberger. You can't even let this guy retire and get his glory. You're like, you know what? I'm going to retire too. Oh, I got 7 rings.
To be honest, though, Tom Brady is retiring at like the best time if you want to uphold like your legacy as the GOAT, because we're not seeing the Big Ben years of he fell off.
That's a good point.
So
like what Brett
Big Ben's fat, so that's what happened.
Yeah, but Ben could have retired at a better time. He
like
had
2
to retire.
years. 2 years ago, if he would have retired, it'd have been perfect. But
so he didn't go out like Brett Favre, throwing like 5 or 6 interceptions a game.
It's
and,
kind of like
well, did Brett Favre go out like that?
Well, Brett Favre went out pretty shitty. I mean, Brett Favre went around the league.
What was his last year?
Jets.
No, that wasn't his last year.
No,
the Jets.
That wasn't his last year.
Well, shit.
How do you misremember this?
He played for somebody else after that.
Played for the Vikings. They went to the.
Well, he played for the Vikings after the Packers.
No, I thought he went to the Jets first.
No,
I'm pretty sure he went to the Jets.
I think
first.
he ended with the Jets because he went to Minnesota as an FU to Green Bay, which is what they thought Rodgers was going to do.
I guarantee it.
I don't think he did.
You're looking it up. So he went to the Jets, and he had a good year with the Jets too. He just got hurt, and then he kind of floundered. But he had to get shoulder surgery.
So do you
just hate him because he's a Packer?
Well,
but he went to the Vikings.
That goes without saying.
He went to the Vikings and went to the
down my hate.
NFC Championship game that year, right? And then that was Bountygate.
All right. How confident are you both?
I'm super confident.
And what did you say?
He went to the Jets before the Vikings.
No, he went to the Vikings first because it was a fuck you. Oh, he probably went somewhere else.
No, he didn't play anywhere else.
According to Wikipedia, Favre was traded in 2008 to the New York Jets.
Thank you.
Where he was on the roster for 1 year and spent his final 2 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings.
Thank you.
I should have believed you because
I know things.
Like no, just because you're a Giants fan by default, you have to watch the Jets. But Wikipedia is also not
what that means.
Wikipedia is not 100% accurate because I did once. I was looking up UFC results as they were happening in real time.
Are you still disputing it?
Somebody lost by cock choke. So I'm just saying.
Let's go to the Supreme Court. Mark v. Wikipedia.
That's never happened to anybody, you know, Mark. But yeah, end of an era for those guys, and I mean. Yeah, it will be weird to not see him, but we've been losing all our heroes. So,
yeah.
You know, it is what it is. I mean, there's a new crop of quarterbacks, and we'll talk about a few of them later.
So, coming from, and I mean this in all sincerity, from like all of our teams, you probably
Get deep, Daddy.
You probably had the one quarterback that had a similar type of retirement based on what he meant to the city, right? Because Chicago's never really had somebody like that retire.
No, they haven't.
Whereas the Giants have with Eli. Does this feel like Eli? Does this feel bigger? Does it feel less since you're a Giants fan? Like, or does it have the same Is it the same mystique?
Different. Oh, well, it was different for Eli because you knew he was retiring.
Eli.
Yeah, so like he got to play his last game, and people knew he wasn't coming back. Yeah. Brady, right. I think up until like a couple days after the end of the season, people thought he was probably coming back. So he didn't really get like a swan song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but are you gonna? So Tom Brady obviously means a lot to football. Are you gonna miss? Did you miss Eli more than you were gonna miss Tom?
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit about Tom. I mean, as far in the wide scope of football, yeah, and all those other guys too. But I mean, Eli's, won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, how do you? Doesn't compare. I mean, I'm sure even with him, he's gonna care more about Nick Foles than Tom Brady. Am I right?
You're
or wrong?
Damn right.
Yeah, I mean,
Nick Foles beat Tom Brady. Who's better?
Well, what I'm saying is, listen, Eli Manning owned Tom Brady. Legitimately.
Well, so did the Eagles. Eli Manning is 10-21 against the Eagles.
That's all right, but he won more Super Bowls, so.
Which
the final laugh.
As you can probably, as our viewers can see, Rocky's not here again. He is attending Tom Brady's retirement party.
Very nice,
Rocky.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Even with the
sharp,
with the red little pocket square for the Buccaneers, maybe there.
This is what you can, Rocky. You stick on that Peloton, man.
Looking
this is
good,
what you can turn out to be.
Salt and pepper.
He's looking svelte.
Svelte.
Got the S&P too.
Yeah, a little bit less neck hair.
What a guy
in that photo.
What a guy.
Than in real life.
You know when you
a handsome guy.
When you're on Jersey Boys for 2 weeks, it really cuts you down. It's a lot of cardio.
It's a lot of cardio, a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking good.
Looking good, man. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I think he'll be back next Tuesday, he said.
Let's hope so.
If he comes
See you next Tuesday,
then we'll get our jingles back. And maybe we'll be updated with our record for the pick'ems. This is like
he doesn't even remember.
This is like a Wild West without... He's starting to become a little bit of a sheriff here. Laying down some of the law.
That's what he does.
Keeping us in line. Yeah.
But he's a little too much. He's like a librarian more than a sheriff.
A librarian. He's the elder counsel and the librarian. I love it.
All right, so let's transition. I mean, it kind of sucks that Rocky's not here to celebrate Brady.
Yeah,
he does for sure.
Loves him so much.
He would have. I'm pretty sure he would have prepared a statement.
Yeah, he would have probably wrote a poem.
Probably on like parchment, like a quail feather, like written.
It might even end up becoming part of the decor here next week.
I like how you threw that decor in there with the
it's
A.
Very nice.
Decor.
And decor.
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus. So let's talk about the thing that just broke news before we came in. Brian Flores is suing the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Broncos for alleged racial discrimination in hiring.
Yes.
Right? And I'll just start with this. Listen, the Rooney Rule, for me, is one of the stupidest rules in existence as far as it goes for sports leagues. Now, I understand the spirit of the rule, okay? I understand what it was meant to do.
Equal opportunity employment.
Yes. But it's a flawed rule for the very fact that, and like my point, and I'll just say this, is with the Giants, obviously they had a black GM, won 2 Super Bowls with him, multiple black coaches on their staff, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, because the guy doesn't get the job, and I think he said he had a text from Bill Belichick telling him before his interview, so before Dable was hired, that Dable was the guy. Belichick somehow mistakenly sent it to him, whatever that's all about.
Maybe because Brian.
But the truth of the matter is, if the Giants, they got a GM that came from Buffalo, he probably had his heart set on the hiring Dable. But the rule forces them to interview Flores. Right. So yeah, he may claim that it's a formality, but it is. If they already decided on Gable and they have to, interview a black candidate.
Right. If it is a requirement, then yes. I mean, that's what you're going to get into, and that is the gray area of that rule. But, I understand if Flores is upset at the situation, right? Because I don't think he should have left Miami by any stretch of the imagination. But to come out and now badmouth these teams regarding this, I mean, the coveted position in football, right, as a quarterback, you have to go after quarterbacks. You're claiming racism. You're going after 2 teams that have black quarterbacks that they've stuck by and they've stuck with and said that we can win with these guys. We've seen the hiring of black coaches and black GMs, and we might be speaking out of turn here a little bit, not understanding the full backstory to everything. But I know the Bears just hired Brian Poles from Kansas City. Like there's hirings about, and this rule only lends a hand to possibly pointing out prejudices if minorities aren't hired.
Yeah,
right?
well, there is a lack of black coaches in the NFL. That's a fact. I think
yes.
Head coaches.
Yeah,
I think there's only one.
Happened with Eric Bieniemy a few seasons ago too with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Well, what happens every year, but the problem with what hurts Bieniemy is that Andy Reid is an offensive genius.
Yeah.
So it's hard for teams to differentiate what's Andy and what's Eric, right? But my point is with Flores, I think he probably has a case with Dolphins. He was there, but to point fingers at two other franchises when all you could claim is that it was a formality, well, the spirit of the rule is not that, but the actual action of the rule being played out winds up being that so any coach they would hire besides him, you could then go and say that it's a formality.
Yeah.
If I wanted to hire Dable and I had already had my mindset, he was there with him in Buffalo. So it's very possible, and I think that is the case, that he knew he wanted to hire him. Dable was a hot name for most of the season, and that's who he wanted, but the rule forces you to have that interview.
Yeah.
And then that's just kind of how it is. If anything, he should be petitioning the NFL to change the Rooney Rule.
My thing with it is, so I think the Rooney Rule is, I think it's good for the reason that it gives opportunity that might not, just because of existing prejudice or, structural things with organizations and who they want, who they don't want, things like that. But I think where Flores is coming from, and this is such an early thing that we haven't had all the details for or anything like that, so we could be speaking out of turn, but I think how it's undergone. Like, maybe Flores felt like his interview was an afterthought, and that could be because they already knew who their guy was, but it's more the conditioning of the interview. It's how Flores maybe felt before, after, or during, those types of things where the prejudice could be because, in his perspective, he wasn't going to get hired. He's going into an interview, and then with these other teams, he might have felt a little slighted or disrespected because he's just showing up because he has to be there, which is the rule.
Yeah,
but it's like almost put on face, like get it done correctly. I think that's the problem for him.
But I understand that, and what I would say and push back is that that's the flaw of the rule itself.
Yeah. Right.
Like, the spirit to want to have diversity is good. Forcing people to do it creates an issue that doesn't have to really be like.
Right.
I understand this rule being constituted when
it was prejudice
when it was there, right? Because we're talking about maybe 30, 40 years ago when it was much more of an issue. But now when you have as many black quarterbacks as you do, and black people in the front office for a lot of these teams. Mm-hmm. I think that the Rooney Rule has kind of outlived its use. And what I would say about the way he feels, there was also 5 other coaches that were interviewed for the job that didn't get it.
Yeah,
and they just happened to not be black. So,
and to pick, the teams that he picked too, the Giants, let's be honest, like, you could probably go and interview for a head coach. Like, they're going to entertain anybody and everybody, right? Before they finally pick.
I like what you're doing here, but.
You like that? So they're going to entertain anybody that they have, right? And on the flip side of that, like, he's now underhandedly, like, totally discredited Brian Dable as well. Like, hey, you're only getting this because you're.
I didn't think about that.
And they work together too.
And Dable, the guy's a mastermind. The Bills have been a really solid team for the last couple of years, and they're going to be very solid going forward. And I don't like what it says to Dable. It's kind of stealing his, Dable should be happy about this hiring. He's probably celebrating. Then that shit comes out and he's like, oh, man, this is how I have to start my career here.
They won't be there forever though, because they're going to go into all these cases, obviously, and they're going to figure out the details and things like that. But
I do think Dolphins have an issue though.
The Dolphins do have an issue because there was a report that came out, and I pulled it up, that basically the owner, Stephen Ross, was upset with Flores for being too successful and was offered to pay him money to
lose games. Yeah.
So I feel like for Brian, I'm trying to fight for Flores in a way because this is all of how he's been treated. right?
Yeah, he should have never been fired.
Through the Dolphins with all that, but also like his interviews, and because to him it doesn't feel like he's been given a shot. Like if that's true or if it's not, if it's based off his pedigree, if it's based off anything else that it shouldn't be based off of, it's just that's why he probably filed this lawsuit, is because he feels like he's been disrespected and mistreated for his own reasons. So.
I think that's fair, and I'll end my statement with this. I think, like I said, I think he does have a case with the Dolphins. I think he should have just left it there, because I feel like the Broncos and the Giants are kind of catching shrapnel because they didn't hire him.
Yeah.
So I feel like in this case, the only way that they don't get sued is if they hire him. So if the Giants hired him, would he have sued the Broncos? Or would he have just been happy and not sued anybody?
I kind of feel like Denver's just like WTF over this whole thing. Like, how did we get involved?
Well, I think they hired him, but I mean, they interviewed him. What I'll say is there's probably some real issues there. That's where he has experience. He went into an interview. That interview might have been painted by his emotions or whatever. But like I said, both of those teams interviewed other coaches, and I mean, did the Broncos hire anybody yet?
Yeah, I think they did. But I did see the one thing. I know that Flores said that when he met with Denver, the administration that he met with was late and disheveled. I don't know if you read that.
Yeah, that's not good. But this is my problem with the rule, is that
quote unquote sham interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If I'm let's say, all right, let's.
I just don't like what this does, because I think he's too good of a coach to like.
Well, he's hurting his future prospects,
and he said that himself.
Let's say I'm Puerto Rican, right? So let's say there was a rule you had to interview a Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah.
All right, so that means I'm going to go into every interview. I had to question now if this is a formality or if they're really interested.
Yeah.
That's what the rule does. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about what?
Do you like that? Do you like that you go into the interview and feel that way?
Well, there's no rule there, so I don't know what the fuck you're asking.
As a Puerto Rican fella going into a hire where they have to interview a Puerto Rican fella, how do you feel about that? Are you on the hot seat? Do you feel like you're only getting the interview because you're Puerto Rican, or do you think that it's that you have a fair shot at it? Or is it in the back of your head?
The hell are you talking about?
I don't know.
I think it's a fair shot.
But what I'm saying is that the very nature of the rule being there creates the conflict within the person that's
it does
at the interview. Like, it's like if I have a bunch of money and a girl wants to hang out with me, because I have the money, is she here because of the money or because of me? That's what the rule is. Are they interviewing
probably the money
me? Yeah, probably. But the formality, but I don't have money, so it's been me most of the time.
Nice.
So the formality is inherently in the back of his head because of the rule. So it paints everything. I'm saying maybe they are prejudiced, but what I'm saying, even if they're not, it still could be painted like if they just weren't interested in him as a coach, like maybe they weren't interested in 3 of the other guys. Now, because of the rule, now I have something to point to. Like, well, it was because of this.
It could have just been, and
it could have just been they didn't want to go to defensive coach.
They could have been
because they wanted to.
I'll wait for the documentary, Brian Flores after the final rose. I think that's what he's really upset about, is that he didn't get that. He didn't get that rose and get to go to the fantasy suite with either Denver or the Giants.
Let's just hope that it's.
I'm trying to bring in the
treatment by the teams, and that it just is. It's more justice being served than anything. So hopefully.
Okay, here it is. Ass of the week. That guy's an asshole. That's fantastic.
Very nice.
How does your family feel when they hear that?
Oh, they stopped watching after like the second episode. They were like, "Yeah, we supported you enough on this venture. Good luck, buddy."
They did the required.
Who wants to talk about the ass of the week? I mean, this is pretty funny.
This is pretty funny.
Two-timer.
He's back and not back to back, but yeah. I'll shut up.
Their backs should have been back to back in the video.
It would have served them better. Do we have the clip? Is the clip up, or are we putting this?
I'll put it up. I'll put it up and I'll keep it. But we can
somewhere.
Talk over it. Yeah.
All right, Zach. This was your baby. Bring it home.
Yeah. So Brian, good old Mr. Kelly, man, you just can't stay out of the internet in bad ways, huh?
You can't stay out of the goddamn dance circle. What is he thinking?
For anyone that doesn't know, when college players or when players that want to go to college, they go to these recruiting things and they show the
bird and the bees.
Here's the campus and here's put the uniform on and we'll do some media stuff with you, do some hype videos. Here's all the so try and have them go to this school, right?
Yeah.
So there was a prospect going to LSU And Mr. Coach Kelly just is such an awkward individual to where for this like hype video that they're doing with this guy, it's Brian Kelly and it's the football player, and they're on this little like.
It's one
it
of
reminds
those
me of like a circus
spin around thing. They have it at the award shows now, and it takes like shots. It's like a rotating camera.
So they have
You've seen it.
So they've had both dudes are on there, right? And you would think they'd be like back to back, like looking at the camera, doing these dances, everything like that. Brian Kelly's this tall. This football player is like this tall, and they're dancing, and then Brian Kelly's like grinding on the dude. It's like they're facing forward. Brian Kelly's like in the back, like
you can go back to back
doing that.
You can go front to front.
He's being such a dad.
You never go front to back.
No,
like that is
front to front would be terrible.
Yeah, front,
too.
I don't know, but that's what Mark's into, I guess.
I think front to back is worse than front to front.
I don't know. I don't like front to front or front to back. I like back to back work.
Front to front at least looks like a dance off. Back to back looks like all right. Let's not sword fight. But front to back is like
front to back and front to front are both bad.
Like
I'm just saying
their faces are like this close to each other. Like they're breathing each other. Is like they know what they had for lunch if they're facing this way.
Brian Kelly.
Well, not with that mismatch.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he'd be getting. Well, that's even worse because Brian Kelly's like staring at crotch level basically. This dude.
Brian Kelly,
he's got a face full of
ultimate dad move, dad dancing.
And honestly, it's a very big L too because that kid. Like,
transferred already?
He go to LSU? I wouldn't. That's embarrassing, man. That's like some.
He's in the transfer portal already.
It could have been really cool though if
he
wasn't there.
It could have been.
That's what's sad about it.
Why didn't they just let him hype video himself?
And the dance moves too. It's like a little bit of this.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's doing this.
With this.
This is painful watching you reenact it, let alone it happening in real time.
I'm going to be asked of the week next week. Watch.
That with the, his introductory pep rally thing where he had the accent and Brian Kelly is really he's had a hell of a 3 months. I'll say that.
It hard for himself.
Come to LSU, y'all will do the Watusi front to back.
Honestly, do you just continue being this brand now? Do you
I think you got to lean into it. It's kind of like Lane Kiffin. Yeah. Like Lane Kiffin was a joke for like a year or two, and he just kind of leaned into what everybody said. Now he's great, right? Like people like him,
right?
So I think he probably has to lean into it.
He has cornered LSU right now. LSU's brass are shaking their heads in their hand. Yeah. Like I can't believe he just created this climate for us that we have to.
Coach O is like a tough dude. Like the man used to crawfish in the morning. He could run through a brick wall.
That's how he talks.
He was like the assistant coach in Waterboy.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Meanwhile, Brian Kelly's like wall twerking, like go Tigers. Like it's worse.
Come on, y'all dance.
Come on, y'all. Put your left foot in. Put your right.
Brian Kelly,
so bad.
Notre Dame's finest.
Well, thank you, Brian Kelly, for becoming our second 2-time Ass of the Week.
Well, who was the other? LeBron or something?
No, Rocky. If it was up to Rocky, LeBron would have been asked 5 times.
I was telling you, it's Rocky. It's LeBron, Brady, and Beckham. That's it.
But the Giants were the 2-time Ass of the Week, right?
No, they were once.
Or was it football team? It was football team.
What were they? Oh,
yeah. For the stadium, and then also the fight.
They're not even the football team anymore. You guys heard what their new name is?
No, I haven't heard it.
Oh my gosh, it's I forgot to. Fuck. Let me look it up.
All right, look it up. We'll talk. Yeah. Brian Kelly, Ass of the Week, but Rocky, Rocky's the only guy that after the Beckham wins going to the Super Bowl, he's got to keep kicking dirt. I get it. You don't have to love it, right? But just let it be, man. He just seemed bitter.
If we were to do hype videos for this show, could you see Rocky and Brian Kelly's role? Because I could.
Yeah, Rocky is Brian Kelly.
I can see Rocky.
Oh, have you seen some of Rocky's TikTok? He's Brian Kelly.
That's such a slap in the face.
Have you seen his TikTok?
To Brian Kelly.
He has not an ounce of rhythm in his body, and he's proud of it.
He is proud of it.
So apparently, if you type in thecommanders.com, you get the Washington football team's new team.
Washington Commanders. I don't hate that.
I don't hate it either. I wonder what's their emblem going to be.
I don't know. They should have just been the Washingtons. Called a day.
It would have been, yeah.
I like it, man.
Or the Washington Monuments or something.
Monuments is terrible.
That's what I'm saying. They should have gone with something like
Commanders. What could it be? They're gonna have a hat.
There was the Armada, the Brigade.
Terrible.
Commanders is what do they pick?
Commanders is good.
Defenders.
Defenders isn't terrible, but I like Commanders.
They're probably going to go with something like a lot less racist, like the Confederate flag or something.
Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, that makes sense. They're in Washington. They're in the South, so
they had the presidents, Washington presidents.
That's terrible.
That's awful.
The Red Hogs, because that kind of pays homage to the Hogs.
It's a mouthful though.
The Admirals, the Federals, they had a bunch. What I think was
Admirals would have been good because of what's that movie?
Oh yeah, that movie.
That movie.
The one with,
that one.
The one with no descriptive.
That movie. Keanu Reeves.
The one with the Admiral.
Replacements. The replacements.
The replacements.
What were they? The Sentinels or the Admirals?
It could have been the Washington replacements and got really meta with it because they're replacing their name.
That would have been pretty funny.
Yeah. Well,
that would have been terrible. Commanders is good. What could the emblem be?
I don't know.
Commanders. So that's going to rival
Buccaneers
for longest
just command strips.
Like command strips. They probably just will keep the W, I think, right? Keep
Holy
the w
shit,
on the
dude.
helmet.
Washington Commanders. Like it's going to be like that's a
whole
lot of
text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of text.
That is a lot to put on a shirt.
A lot of letters.
They should just
Washcom.
They should just paraphrase Commanders and just put Durs on there.
Durs.
Washington Durs.
Or com.
Or what?
Hey, so let's talk about this weekend, man. I think we had it wasn't as good as the weekend before, but we still had some pretty good games.
I don't know, man. These playoffs have been fantastic.
Yeah, they've been the best playoffs as a whole.
They have been.
We've had in a while. So let's start with the early game. Well, yeah, it was the early game.
Yes. The
Bengals at Kansas City, and there's a lot to talk about in this game. So let's start with the fun story. Let's start with the Bengals and talk about Burrow and
Joe Cool,
Smoking Joe
Burr, and that group of young players. But man, I tell you what was pretty impressive to me is what they did on defense in the second half.
Yeah.
Wow,
changed up their coverage and kind of made the Chiefs look like they did early in the season. They were playing sort of just playing coverage. They stopped blitzing, and it looked like Mahomes is back to being impatient. And I was just super impressed with how they turned that around.
He took a couple of terrible sacks towards the end of that game too,
man.
And
he had nowhere to go. Yeah,
no, and I intentionally threw out that hex text where I was like, oh my god, Kansas City looked unstoppable for their first 3 drives.
They did.
I was like, oh shit, this is a wrap.
Yeah.
So kudos to the locker room at halftime that says we can go out and win this game. They turned their defensive scheme around to see that nucleus of young players stay as poised as they did to mount that comeback. And I mean, Barrow screwed up at one point and threw that pick too.
Yes, he did.
We're like, all right, that probably just killed the momentum.
Yeah.
But Joey Cool, man, he kept his head on him. Chase put up big numbers. T. Higgins put up nice numbers.
You can't say enough, and they figured out how to get Chase free in the second half. But you can't say enough. Like the defense, man, there was no answers. They dropping the guys in coverage, and it really messed with them the same way teams were doing them early in the season, where he didn't want to take he even, I think, admitted it in the post-game press conference that he was kind of passing up on some of the underneath stuff.
Yeah.
And they were trying to push the ball down the field, and they just – I could count like 3 or 4 times where you just see Mahomes turning and then turning and turning. And
I just can't imagine being a Chiefs fan, like having the meltdown of we're gonna lose this game, I just
at home
going into half, and it's almost like poetic how they tried going for because they tried scoring right before the half.
That was terrible,
and then
that was all on Mahomes.
Down from there,
that was all on Mahomes. That was such a bad decision, and he thought they had a timeout. Decision.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you not come away with 3? Be up?
Did he thought they had a timeout? Is that why he did that?
I heard that. I think there's a video going around with him trying to call timeout.
All right. I was going to say, I mean, that would be an obvious scapegoat to say, I thought I had a timeout there.
Kind of like Tom Brady. I thought we had 4.
Yeah.
But even if you thought he had a timeout, it's a bad play. I mean, you still would have to rush and call the timeout.
So just like any time.
It's got to be in the end zone.
Fourth down, you never throw short of the sticks, right? You're taught that. Fourth down, you never throw short of the sticks. 4 seconds left. You have time for one play. You don't throw short of the goal line.
Yeah.
You don't.
Throwing into the end zone, it's like your first read. If it's not there, you throw it away.
Yep, take the field goal.
Right? So they screwed up, and the game did change there. But what I will say about the Chiefs is I think you got to start looking at, as much as everybody loves Andy Reid, the 4 NFC championships with the Eagles, 4 with Kansas City. But
I won't even do it.
But he didn't win a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He won one with the Chiefs, and you're going to start looking at him and Mahomes the way you're looking at Rodgers. You know, when Rodgers got to the Super Bowl, won that Super Bowl, one Super Bowl with Rodgers, the best quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league. They've been there 4 years in a row now. They get one, but questionable stuff happening. And now that big contract for Mahomes is going to start kicking in.
It's an interesting take, yeah.
Kelsey is 32, going to be 33.
Yeah.
That team's you're going to start losing pieces. You can't keep paying everybody. Everybody thinks that, they'll be back. It doesn't work like that in
It's
NFL.
gotta be something
It's only happened one time where
Yeah.
it's the Patriots. They've been everybody else. It's
And even when
up and down.
Even when it does happen, like last year, Tampa Bay was the blueprint of that, right? Everybody was getting older. Everybody was on expiring contracts. They win the Super Bowl, and they're like, let's keep this team together. And they did, and they brought almost everybody back. And then look what happened. Age showed itself towards the end of the season there. And
so it doesn't
that doesn't even always work out either. I mean, it just might be Kansas City might have missed their window.
Oh, well, I don't think their window's closed, but it's not. They
not
had a
as
4-year window here where they only won one.
Now
it's going to get tougher, though, because now you got
Josh Allen.
And the point I was making last week that people try to kill me about Carr, my point was that Carr was in the division. Okay, so now you got to.
Dude,
they don't understand that.
They don't understand.
But,
Derek Carr is an amazingly above average quarterback. Derek Carr is fantastic.
Well, no,
I've been saying it since his rookie season.
Yeah.
Derek Carr puts up numbers year after year after year with squadouche. People want to talk about.
That's true.
People want to talk about, Aaron Rodgers never has anything. Well, Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers has had pieces.
Yeah.
Derek Carr always gets shit. He had Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper didn't even like playing there.
Amari Cooper was terrible when he was so hot.
He was having a problem, yeah. That's true.
But my point last week for Rodgers going there was...
I did love that you got killed for that, though.
Well, whatever. But my point was that before he even gets out of his division, he's playing Mahomes, Herbert, and Carr. And Carr has beaten Herbert. He's beaten Mahomes. He could beat Rodgers in Denver. My point was that now it's the same thing for Mahomes. Now, Mahomes has got to deal with Burrow. He's got to deal with Herbert. He's got to deal with the Patriots, and Mac Jones is going to get better.
He's got to deal with Allen.
Josh Allen, possibly Rodgers coming into that division.
Lamar Jackson,
like Deshaun Watson, wherever he ends up. The Colts, who if they made it to the playoffs, they beat the Chiefs. They could have won. I mean, to just think that, they're in trouble.
They are.
Because Kelsey's getting older. They're going to lose guys. And I think it gets away from him. Like the Patriots, they had their 3-year run early. They had to be reborn to come back and be what Tom Brady was. That wasn't just they were just winning and winning. They fell off for a little bit, and they were still competitive, but they weren't winning Super Bowls.
And to drive your point home, that's just the immediate. That's what he has to deal with now.
Yeah.
Now he's got to worry 3, 4, 5 years down the road, the teams that are rebuilding now. The Jets.
Yeah, if Zach Wilson turns out to be good.
Yeah, and that offense, they just dumped all that money into that offense and those picks on offense and defense. You got to look at him. These guys,
the Browns, if they could bounce back, they went toe-to-toe with them last year in the playoffs.
Pittsburgh's got great bones, whoever comes in to quarterback that team. Denver's got decent bones, whoever comes in to quarterback that team. Indianapolis has got great bones, whether they stick with Wentz or they bring somebody else in to lead that team. You're 100% right. They've gone there 4 years, and you wonder, how much did they squander? Because from here on out, it gets tougher.
I really like that Packers analogy because it shows, a team that, really thinks that they're, going to win it every year.
Be back and
it's you will, but, do you win the game that gets you to the final?
Shit happens.
Yeah. Because, you have hungry teams like Cincinnati. You have, these teams that, they realize what they have more than those other teams that, want it. You know what I'm saying? It's the Chiefs.
Well, it's going to be tough.
We're going to, time's
They're
ticking.
not just going to be the cream of the crop forever. Like I said, there's only been one team that has done that. It's been the Patriots did that consistently. But besides them, you can't expect that to be the case.
Yeah.
But we'll move on from that into the late game and another guy that kind of solidified, I think, his legacy in a possible spot in the Hall of Fame with Matt Stafford, even though he had an okay game. And on the other side, Jimmy G, kind of probably threw himself out of a few million.
Last game as a 49er, a lot of people are saying too.
Man.
Yep. I feel bad for Debo. You saw him being really emotional after the game.
They did not give him the ball in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They didn't. And you know what? I thought for Garoppolo a little bit too. That last interception that he threw, That was Garoppolo honestly trying to make something happen out of nothing.
Oh, that last interception was nothing.
It wasn't even a terrible throw. I mean, it went through, I think, Michael Hasty. It went through Hasty's hands and was picked off. I mean, you can't put that totally on Jimmy Garoppolo.
That was a 3rd and 15. It was if he got sacked there, it was gonna be 4th and 20 something.
Right.
I think it's whatever. All right, they're not picking up the 4th down. You have to get the ball out of your hands. Running back had a chance to catch it. Whatever. At that point, I mean, if anything, whatever the play call was, or the O-line that kind of let that pressure in right off the bat, that was to blame. But, I mean, there's much more to that game. And I think the big story for me
is Kyle Shanahan.
In 4th quarters doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Break it down, because it's now he now owns three records.
Yeah.
The largest 4th quarter deficit given up in a Super Bowl, the largest 4th quarter deficit given up in the NFC Championship game, and the largest 4th quarter deficit in
the Super Bowl. 2 of them.
It's largest deficit overcome period.
He was the OC
deficit
with the Falcons.
Yep.
And then in the Super Bowl 2 years ago against the Chiefs.
Yep. That was the 4th quarter. Yeah,
and then this year. So, I mean, there's something, I don't know what it is, but to go away from Deebo Samuel.
And this is
I
a guy
don't know
who's...
what happened. I was rooting for the Rams, though. I mean...
I was,
and
too.
I got that. I mean, just to hit that by 3, to cover.
Yeah, I know. That was
such
nice. It's
beautiful.
perfect. Yeah.
But, I mean, I wanted the Rams. I like Von Miller. I like Stafford finally getting his due. I like Ramsey getting there, even though he could be a pain in the ass sometimes.
There are a lot of players that you can root
for. Odell, I'm happy that he...
Well, I think he's
a great player. I want to see him win. That's...
I think we can all agree that this podcast loves Odell Beckham.
Oh, I love him.
I think that Odell Beckham, is...
And listen,
he's due, man.
I hate the way he left the Giants and what he said about...
And he's had shit quarterbacks up till now.
Yeah, no. But he's... I'm going to ignore that. So, but he was a young guy. Whatever. I like to see people redeem. So, that's nice. And you got Aaron Donald's going to get there. And... there's a bunch of guys on that team you could root for, so I was happy for them.
Well, Aaron Donald's a bit of a prick, but
he's still great though.
He's a fan. He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not emotional about the players unless they're on my team. Besides that, if they're good, I want to see them win.
Yeah, Phil was sleepover. Those wide receivers in New York, losing sleep over those guys, probably crying yourself to sleep.
No, not really.
I want a touchdown. Why are we paying him all his money?
Yeah, no, we'll be all right. Yeah. We'll see who's better next year, though.
You want to place a bet?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I do.
I want to see this right now.
We'll work on it.
No. It's the first bet of 2022.
Okay, what is it?
What is it?
You have to incorporate
record.
I said the Eagles have a better record. Yeah.
Okay. What's the bet? The Wheel of Death? We're gonna do it. Do something else?
We still haven't. We didn't even break that out for last season. We're gonna have to break that out at some point to cover all
so
of our bets.
that'll be the bet.
Yeah.
Let's say we're gonna bet, and we'll figure out what the
comment down below.
Yeah,
I think whoever loses the bet has to be Brian Kelly in a hype video for the podcast. So the other one gets to be the recruit. Whoever wins is the recruit.
Well, then we both have to be in the video,
and you both lose, which is fun for me. But at least one loses more.
How about you're in the video?
Well, I could be
since you're really pumping it up.
Recruit. Yeah,
we can figure it out. We'll
we have time.
Yeah, even if it's for cold hard cash, we'll figure it out.
But so San Francisco, what do we think happens there? We think Jimmy G's probably gone, right?
Of course, yeah.
They're gonna go with Trey Lance. I think they probably take a step back. So
I think they will at first too. I think they have to take a step back, right, until Trey Lance figures things out, because he didn't look the greatest throwing the ball, but he was a very mobile quarterback, and he'll be able to get him out of situations. His legs will probably buy him a couple more wins than his arm will at first.
Yeah, and
then hopefully he can develop into like a Josh Allen type, someone who can.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but the knock
the guy was almost an MVP. So
right, but if you remember, the knock on Josh Allen coming out was that he wasn't that accurate, and that his legs were going to get him out of trouble until he was able to buy time until his arm caught up. Yeah. So that's kind of what Trey Lance is looking at. I think his legs are going to have to buy him that time, and hopefully his arm catches up. And that's
let's just say that hopefully he'll be good. Well, say hopefully he'll be Josh Allen.
What's the point? The point is to compare them. We got to compare them.
But what else? You're just comparing that you're comparing that he's inaccurate.
I hope he doesn't suck.
No, but I mean, it's quite a jump.
I hope he doesn't.
They're both inaccurate.
I hope Trey Lance doesn't suck.
Well, he's inaccurate. like Josh Allen, so maybe he could be like
Josh
him.
Allen was. Yeah, because he might turn
Well,
it around.
guess what? Hey, when I tell you something, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that are inaccurate and they don't become Josh Allen. So he's probably more that than Josh Allen.
Don't take your 2022 Giants loss out on me, buddy, right now. All right?
2022.
Yeah, the bet that you guys just made that you're going to lose.
Oh, okay.
Should we worry?
Why don't we wrap the Bears into this?
Oh.
No.
You're talking so much shit. All right,
Yeah.
No, I will not.
All right, so shut up then.
Yeah.
Let us talk shit. You don't talk shit.
Chicago.
Unless you want to put your chips in the table, shut up.
We'll see. Let's see how the offseason goes for Chicago.
Okay. All right. So I think, is there anything? The Rams, like you said, they went all in and it's paying off. They're in the Super Bowl.
This is basically a Lions Super Bowl. Eminem is going to be performing at halftime. Matthew Stafford's in the Super Bowl. It's like, this is Detroit's year.
This is Detroit's year.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Cooper Kupp for a second, though?
I guess we can.
We sure can.
I think if Cooper Kupp isn't mentioned amongst the greatest wide receivers in the game currently, it's an injustice. That's the every week in, week out, an undersized guy, right, that takes all of those tough catches over the middle, right? A lot of catches
and blocks
that people short arm.
He does everything.
And does everything with them, man. I saw a couple of routes that he ran, just defenders tripping all over themselves, and they turn into touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, man, kudos to being an undersized dude at that position and stepping up and doing all right. Not sucking.
Sounds
like
like
hopefully what I don't want Trey Lance to do next year.
Trey Lance. Who's better next year, Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Fuck you.
I'm just asking.
Well, I think we know
the
the
next
answer.
Josh Allen.
I think we know the answer by that. I think with the 49ers, real quick for me, is they weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Vegas, a lot of people will say that the 49ers were like biting off a little bit more than they can chew. So for them to be as competitive and like just like solid across the board for their roster, like from every position, really, they'll take a step back definitely. But if I'm a 49er fan, I'm still feeling good.
Absolutely.
And they should definitely already say their goodbyes to Garoppolo, because there's like a thing on Twitter where John Lynch is like shaking everybody's hands after the game and telling them like one by one, good season, all this stuff. And then he, only got a hug that he's hugging is Jimmy Garoppolo. So,
yeah.
So it's,
And, as a 49er fan, you have to be optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Because you just drafted your future.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
And you got this far with that. Well, but in their minds, you just drafted your future, and you got this far with a guy that has annually has his foot on the banana peel, right? Every year you talk about Jimmy G not being the quarterback in San Francisco.
watch me go to Tampa, man.
Yeah. Trust. I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy Garoppolo can do well in other situations.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think he did well in this one too. I think
I think he did as well.
are just, like I said, people just expect their quarterback to be the best one in the league. And if he's not, then they're upset. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, just beat Daniel Jones, top 32
There you go.
every year.
Did he even make top 32?
Jalen Hurts. Come on.
Oh man.
Really?
How about loser has to wear? It was kind of a lame.
Yeah, it's lame. Don't
It
do
sounds
it.
lame already.
Yeah,
it's
never
not
mind.
a good one.
Yeah.
I get where you're going.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, listen, we missed Rocky, but not really. So
Yeah. Well, thanks, Rocky, for the great connection and internet, because we lost our slides halfway through
pay the bill, please.
show. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of paying our bills.
I think what it was is he gave us that text like, "Great show, guys," and
I'm
I
turning
think
it off.
I think like
Yeah.
he's proposing
that's
the thumbs up, but he's really giving the finger to the phone, and this is his doing. This is his doing.
He's probably getting texts left and right. Great show this week. You guys rocked. Best show yet. And if you know Rocky, like I know Rocky's egomaniac, he hates that. This is the Rocky show at the end of the day, and it is what it is. But hopefully he'll be back Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week. We'll be previewing the Super Bowl, making our picks, talking about that game, and we'll probably touch on the MLB thing if that gets finalized.
Yeah.
I hope so. I need something to watch during the off season.
Have Rocky update us on the picks where we're at. It doesn't really matter for you guys, but me and him are neck and neck, so we'll see what's going on.
That has not been updated. I guarantee.
I just want to see my 4-0 on there.
You guarantee you're in the lead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like how Phil guaranteed his 6-0 record a few weeks ago.
Well, I did go 6-0.
Allegedly.
That's in the chat, so you could check guys. Yeah.
You guys check the chat out since you guys have access to it.
Well, you know what? It wasn't my fault why did we not do the show that week? What happened?
We've had issues with
was it
software and
COVID thing
stuff.
or was it the software?
Oh.
It was the COVID thing.
It was COVID. Yeah.
So look at you joking about COVID.
Cancel,
cancel this, man.
Me joking about COVID,
dude. You can't joke about COVID. Joe Rogan's about to lose his Spotify contract because of
not.
No, I know.
Joe, come on our show.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so follow us on.
I wonder if we could get Joe Rogan to give us a shout out.
All right,
never.
Shut up. Can you shut up?
Never.
Let's duet him. Let's duet him on
money?
TikTok so much that he gets annoyed with us and gives us
And
like a shitty shout out. But shout out.
I don't think he's on TikTok. But
I'll file a restraining order first before he gives us a shout out.
Take us out on our socials.
Yeah, so just pay our bills for us, please. We're running out of connection. We're probably starving. Apparently now we need COVID tests too.
Yep.
Follow us wherever you really want. We're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We do Instagram and TikTok differently. There's unique content on both of those platforms, so we really appreciate you following there. That's where you get your most daily content from us. And watch the show wherever. Like and subscribe, please, and let us know what you think.
Was it at UFL Pod?
At UFL Pod, yes, sir.
All right, guys. Peace.
Take us out.
Jesus Christ.
Boom.
We need our sheriff.